Good afternoon, ladies and gents. Welcome back to another review. Today is Monday the 11th. Plan was to start the week off strong. However, I had a pretty sloppy day. It was actually not bad for most of the day, and then just got really messy towards the end. Let's take a look at it today. So we had a huge gap down at the SPY, pushed down into pre-market, and then got bought back up, and then kind of closed where we opened off. Quite a bit higher, actually, sorry. But anyways, decent day on the SPY. IWM is continuing to push. It is showing quite a bit more strength than the SPY here. Let's take a look at my action. So I got quite a bit of setups, couple of longs as well. CLVS, I was looking for a climactic reversal here. We had some nice topping volume, and then kind of came into this daily level, so I shorted the break of that candle and then covered didn't cover, I actually reshorted. So we came down, got caught up in the support, pushed up, and then as it started to come back down, I shorted again. I like that stuff right there. However, we got bought up, so I covered off the high of this candle and then a high of day. Sticking to my rules here, covering to high of day, I'm happy with. However, obviously missed a nice little move there, but nonetheless, I'm happy with my risk management. This is a premature add. I probably shouldn't be adding there. So realistically, probably a short there, and then maybe a cover at a break even or minor loss. Next one is, let's take a look at some of the opportunities we had. So this one wasn't great, but as you can see, high of day, we're coming into here. Could have taken this trend line break here on the back side and kind of covered into VWAP and then taken all off here. Hindsight 2020, though, it's hard to see. All right, let's take a look at FTFT. So this was another one of those that I missed. I had a couple of decent setups here. I'm not sure exactly what I was going for here. Realistically, that's a pretty poor setup. I think I was looking at something like this for the trend line break. But as you can see, so it broke out. I got it long, and then we came down, lower volume, as you can see here, and then as we started getting bought back up, I took it long on the lower high. I've been testing this strategy out. It seems like these some of these plays do tend to run. So I tried this out. This one didn't work, so I just stopped out there. But let's take a look at what happened. So on this exact setup here, the wedge, we get a wedge and a wedge. And then this time, look what happens. So we break out, support off that wedge, and then push up. So look what happened here. Exact same thing. We break out, support off that wedge, and push up. So realistically, I'm fine with taking a setup. One thing I do notice is this is quite a bit closer to VWAP. And then also on Bookmaps, let me show you, not off Bookmap, but let me show you off of here. This is the one. No, this is FTFT. So here, sorry. So this is the trade that I took. I took it long here, and got stopped out. Was looking for this trend break, but look at over here. So we have this $6 level as well as VWAP. And that's the one that's getting supported, right? So as it comes into it, gets bought up, pushes up. That's the first entry that I showed you. And then that's the retest on the VWAP, and then sell into the high of day, which shows you a nice level at 7. So you got a purchase at about 610, 615, risking 6, and all the way up to 7. So this is a great trade that I really want to add into my playbook. Conservatively, you can get in here on the break of this kind of consolidation, and then you can get in here risking 594. If we take a look at that, you get up to 4R. So there's definitely potential on these, and I definitely want to keep an eye on these. And then look what happens on this trend line break. So that's another setup that I like, the trend line break. But yeah, so I missed those two. Let's take a look at Watt. This is not much here. So we had this climactic volume on the 1 minute chart and then rejected, so I ended up taking it short. Didn't get the move I wanted, stopped out for half, and then stopped out for the rest. Nothing else to really explain there. BLNK, this is my, this is the one that kind of ruined the day. So we have this trend line. We break it. I was looking for this entry, but I missed it, so I just kind of wanted to see if it pops back up. We do pop back up right into this 52 level. Sorry. Resistance, support. I thought this is going to be resistance again, so I short and I actually add into it. We push down slightly and then push back up. I take it all off, and then we get this kind of like into. Oh, sorry, I must have. There we go, that's easier to see, sorry about that. So we get this indecision here, so I short, and then gets pushed back up, so I just cover into the 50 level, and then we break back down, and I short again. So at this point, I'm just revenge trading, trying to force. No reason to be doing this whatsoever, especially on a green day. This trade actually turned me into the red. But that doesn't matter, it's just the poor trading here, and then cover into the daily level of the 1000 and then into this 50 level. So that was BLNK. SIFI was a similar kind of thing. A couple of trades that I missed here, same as we kind of looked at before. So we broke out, pushed to VWAP, held support, and then pushed all the way up, right? So, I mean, there's definitely a couple of trend lines you could have drawn here, but this is the first one above VWAP that holds VWAP, so I, you know, hindsight 2020, but once again, that's a great trade that I missed. Coming into here, I was seeing some climactic volume, pushes high of day, and then in that same candle, we're coming back down, so I was waiting for the close of that candle. Right before it closed, I took it short, got a nice cover into the first one, came back up, and as you can see, the selling volume is not coming in here. So what I wanted to see was it to break this candle would be the smart entry. However, I front ran it and got in a little bit early and then had to cover on the spike. So although it did work for that first one, very poor ad here, got a little too excited and got in too early, and then of course it broke down. So yeah, missed the great entry here, and just a terrible trade management. If I imagine it perfectly, it would have been the short, would have been the cover, and then probably get out there as it makes a new high. JAGX. So this one I was looking for the trend line hold a little bit longer term, but if you take a look, we do have this kind of trend to the downside. So there's definitely pressure on the downs or on from the upside, and we are quite escalated here and elevated from on the dailies. So not very happy with this. Was kind of looking at like the microstructure, I believe. This micro break ended up working, didn't take my profit, came back up, so then I added in here, thinking that we would get a nice push. We got rejected, so I just took that off right away and then covered for my stop there. This one is premature. As you can see, it never broke that upwards trend. Compared to the ones that I've shown you before, we get a super tight risk. This is not very tight. We still have a decent range here, so that was a differentiator there. That's a no take for me. AVGR, another rough one here. So this is a pre-market. This is a no setup as well. We do have this kind of trend forming, but didn't see anything I really liked. The reason I got in here, we did have an offer at 115, but it actually got taken out here. And then we start coming down, so I took a short. And then once again, what do I like to do? I like to cover in to support levels. What happens here? We get into the support level, don't cover, push up. This is a good reshort level, and then once again get into a support level, second support level, and I don't cover. So this is just all on me. This is poor trade management. I was looking for a previous high of day, but that's no excuse. You know, even if it's a poor fill, I have to cover into these levels because they do hold, right? So it's not my RR I'm looking for. I have to be playing the levels. So that's just a mistake on my part. ZOM was actually a pretty good one here. we get some nice action in the pre-markets. I was looking to short it into a couple of these spikes. Didn't get a great setup, so I just kind of let that be. So then one thing I was looking for here was we were making this lower high, and there was actually a seller at 93, and then as we get here we have a huge seller that pops up right at 90. So that gave me conviction that, you know, we might sell off through this kind of minor flag or descending triangle or whatever you want to call it. So I took it short, covered into VWAP, and then covered the rest on this hammer. Didn't like how that kind of hammered off of a daily as well as VWAP, and it ended up being the right cover. So then we come up, we get this indecision off the daily, and it starts to make a second indecision here, as you can see, top tick or top wick. So I thought we were going to sell off again and test VWAP, so I short and then cover into the break of 90 where I saw that big order. So that was that one, and then I had another trade. Where was it? Let me take a look here. So it's up here. So at this point, I'm kind of looking for this trend break. Although one thing that I was looking for, actually, wait, so this is another trade that I missed here. Similar kind of thing, broke the trend, come back, retest, and then push. But anyways, so this one, what I was looking for here was actually a huge seller on the $1 level, which is as expected. You know, the whole dollar, especially when it's sub-dollar, is pretty strong. So we get a push up there, reject, indecision, push up there, reject. The best entry would have been right there, and I actually did see it around here, but I waited for confirmation, a little bit more indecision, and then I shorted it as we were kind of breaking down this level. Not a great entry, but it ended up working great, covered into the moving average and kind of this consolidation area, and then into VWAP. So that was that one. You know, I'm fairly happy with that. You know, that's a good trade reading the level 2. As I mentioned, huge offer there that I risked off of. ALRN. This one was a climactic reversal. So we had this kind of downtrend forming here, and then we also had everything pointing to the downside, and we are quite extended on the gap. So I thought we could very well sell off and break. And I thought we could break this 160 level. So what I was looking for was the break here, continue downwards. That's exactly what we got here. I covered into that daily level the pre-market level as I showed you. Thinking the next level would be around here. However, it came back up, and then I got stopped out right at this level. So it's hard, you know, to kind of judge these. This is definitely a reversal candle, so I probably should be getting a full there, but I did like this entry here off this rejection off VWAP. Next is PTE. This is my my best trade of the day. So we're coming into, let's take a look here, pre-market. We have this level here, which is a mirror level. As you can see, it's support, resistance, and I thought that resistance could act again, and it does. So that's kind of what I was looking for there. One thing I also liked was there was some resistance coming in on level 2, so I was watching that and risking that level. So I shorted the first one on this reversal candle, and then on the lower high, covered into the support level, as I mentioned I like to do. That's exactly what I did there. And then we come up and stop me out. So what I like to do is I like to risk off of a specific level, and even if I get stopped out, you know, that's just kind of following my risk plan, which I'm happy with. But then I realized we got some climactic volume. You know, those buyers weren't looking to continue to buy. So I shorted again and then covered into that kind of same level. Bounced. This is a decent level to add. We have this minor flag forming. That's not the best setup, but you know, I could have added risking the VWAP here, but nonetheless I cover into this level on the next drop, and then again into previous day close. So overall it worked out great, but there was still a couple of great levels that I could have added at. So we had this forming, could have added on this break below the moving averages, and then this is a decent add, but we do get a much better opportunity here. So right at the moving averages, we get this indecision and kind of forming this this trend or wedge, I guess. And then as we start breaking down here, this is a great place to short, even if it's an initial one, risking 147 above VWAP. I ended up getting in a little bit late, but I was risking this level here, so I think it was actually just above 140. And we of course never get there, but what I do is it comes down to this level. I don't take profits because this was a fairly wide stop, so this was just around 1R. I think it was a little bit less. And then we come back to my break even. I'm actually up green a little bit on this trade, and then I take profits. And then what happens is we come down. My first target was right there, and that's exactly where we got to. So kind of upsetting. I took this trade and would have got 2R, but my risk management just kind of got me out of it. Is what it is. I definitely got to worry about that and kind of focus on that one. And then my last one was CCL. So this is actually a great wedge trade that I took. So this is the wedge right here. We break out of this wedge and then get bought right back up. So I take that long. SPY was pushing high of day as well, and we also had huge bidders here, and then as we got bought up, they stepped up again. So there's definitely bidders stepping up and a lot of liquidity around here. So I took it long, risking this low. Got a nice push up into the high for 3R. Couple things I could have done is probably shouldn't have taken this. My goal was to take it in front of the moving average, but I kind of panicked as I saw some topping wicks here, so I just wanted to get rid of it and then cover into high of day. So overall, I'm happy with that, but I could have played a little bit differently. Once again, I mentioned a couple things I'm not happy with at all is the end of the day. Even though I was green, I somehow felt I needed to force. This one is okay, but this is a force, and then force this, although it did bring me back into a decent position on this trade. Not happy with that at all. And then a SIFI. This is not a good trade to be taken. So anyways, appreciate you guys watching. I know it's a little bit longer than usual. But yeah, that's my recap, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Cheers.